Every episode on Celebrity Encounters podcast, we interview real people just like you, sharing their own personal celebrity encounters. And with a little storytelling help from us and a few surprises from here in Las Vegas, this is Celebrity Encounters Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to Celebrity Encounters Podcast. I'm Harlan.
And I'm Alan.
And, like I said, this is Celebrity Encounters Podcast, so guess what?
We got a celebrity encounter.
We do.
We absolutely do.
And our guest for today is the fabulous, the amazing Iris. Woo! So Iris, drop a name on us. Who is your celebrity encounter with?
James Arness.
James Arness. Wait a second. James Arness, like the actor from back in the day, he was always mostly a cowboy guy, right?
Gunsmoke.
Yes,
Gunsmoke. Wait, he was on Gunsmoke?
Yes, he was.
Wow. Okay. Now this is a little bit before my time. I'm gonna have to admit that Alan's more the experts on the slightly older than I am. Who is James Arness for people who don't know?
James Arness was an actor that Gunsmoke made him famous. Gunsmoke was a Western serialized program. What days of the week was that on? Was it on Saturday or Sunday?
I'm not sure, but I never missed an episode.
Yeah, it was a great show for the time. Late 50s, early 60s, is that right?
Was the Gunsmoke?
Well, I think I have it here somewhere. 635 episodes.
Wow.
And, yeah, there was a lot of episodes. And Marshal Dillon was his role.
Yeah, he was.
And I don't have when he was on, but it was a lot of years.
Wow. Yeah, 600 plus episodes. That's a lot of episodes.
I'll look it up.
All right. God bless Google. Or Apple, whichever artificial intelligence you're using these days. What was Gunsmoke about? What was the overall theme and cast kind of thing? Do you remember?
It's Dodge City, Kansas.
Okay.
He was the U.S. Marshal.
Okay.
He would have covered quite a lot of territory, and he would have brought in fugitives and made sure that they were tried or convicted and got to the prison they were supposed to go to. So each episode, and you got to know all the characters, and they were wonderful characters. So they became so well known. Children watched them, adults watched them. It was a good moral show. He always got the bad guy. So it was just a wonderful show. And I think a lot of children grew up with Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal.
It was interesting. 20 years, 1955 to 1975.
Wow.
So
20 years.
20 seasons.
Wow. That's crazy awesome.
That's staying power.
Yeah.
On a serialized show like that.
And who doesn't like, the good guys winning out over the bad? I remember as a little kid, my parents would always take me to the John Wayne movies, and it was kind of the same thing where the good guy would always, get the bad guy kind of thing. All right, so we now know what Gunsmoke's all about. Tell us about your encounter.
Well, my husband and I were both in the U.S. Marshal Service. And
wait, you were cowboys and cowgirls?
Well, we wore suits most of the time, cover the weapon. And but we became involved after we retired in the U.S. Marshals Association. We knew that James Arness had received his honorary U.S. Marshal badge when he was younger. The Marshal Service presented that to him. And now we knew he had aged up, and it was time for him to be retired. So we had a conference here in Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget, and we sent him a letter and asked if he would come and speak to the deputies and all these retired U.S. Marshal people and receive his honorary retired U.S. Marshal badge.
All right, hold on a second. I got to ask you a question because you made a point to say honorary and retired. Is there a difference between an honorary marshal and an honorary retired marshal?
Yes. Once you're retired, you receive your honorary. He was an honorary retired U.S. Marshal now. So he never was an actual U.S. Marshal. He was an honorary one. And we honored him because of his association as his role in Gunsmoke and as a U.S. Marshal in one of the new territories at the time, Kansas. And it was time now that he retired, and we wanted to make sure he had the correct badge for being retired.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, I have so many questions right now. So you and your husband were both U.S. Marshals?
Yes.
Okay, so I got a bunch of questions on that. But first I'm going to ask, so as a professional marshal and you would watch Gunsmoke, did they do it right? Was he acting like you would say a marshal would, or was it a TV marshal?
Well, considering it's a lot earlier than the period that, the modern marshals, I thought it probably was mostly accurate. There was a lot more going on because it was a TV show, and every episode had to have a bad guy, and he had to square things around and make sure that the town was safe and the townspeople. So if some gunslinger came through town, he had to take care of that. So it wasn't realistic in all that crime going on constantly, but it was realistic for what his job was.
Okay, so interesting. So now answer me this, is as somebody who doesn't know the difference between a policeman and a marshal as it applies to the Gunsmoke show, what was a marshal versus like a sheriff? Is there a difference?
Yes. The difference is U.S. Marshal. That is U.S. crimes that are solved and handled, whereas the sheriff has a limited jurisdiction, whereas the marshals can go anywhere. And
interesting.
He would have, like I said, he would have covered a wide territory, and he could have gone anywhere in that territory. The sheriffs usually just hung around a town and took care of local crime.
So as an example, on Gunsmoke, as a U.S. Marshal, if the bad guy got out of Kansas and went into another state, the U.S. Marshal from Gunsmoke could have followed him versus the sheriff would get to the border and go, oh, I can't go into that state.
Yeah, that is correct. And that's still true.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
We can go anywhere.
Right? Oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like you've got some factoids for us.
Well, the interesting thing is Burt Reynolds was on Gunsmoke.
Get out.
Yeah.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy? Does it say?
That I can't tell you because
Can't remember.
it doesn't say, but
or was he just a bad boy?
Probably.
Yeah.
You never know. He was very young at that time too.
That's true.
But James Arness was 6'7".
Holy moly.
And at the time, he was the tallest actor in Hollywood.
Wow.
6'7". In the 50s is...
Yeah, that's super tall.
Yeah.
That's like Chewbacca
3 inches
tall.
3 inches taller than John Wayne.
Wow.
Oh, was he really?
Wow.
Wow. Because I never met John Wayne, but on the movies, he always looked like a giant.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But James was taller.
He was taller. He was 3 inches taller. So he was a
And
really tall guy.
We saw his saddle when we went to his home.
Oh, you went to his home?
Yes, we were, because he couldn't travel and come to Las Vegas. He said because of an old war injury. But he said he invited Larry and me to come to his home and present him with his honorary retired U.S. Marshal badge.
Wait. Yeah,
That's cool.
Wait, so you were in Vegas, and you were living in Vegas at the time?
Yes.
And you went to Los Angeles to James Arness's house?
Yes.
Wow. Did you have to present your badge to get in?
No, he was expecting us, and we had a date determined and the time. So we drove the day before. We did a reconnaissance to make sure we knew where his house was.
Of course you did a reconnaissance.
We stayed in a nearby hotel. And then at 10 o'clock on that particular day, we knocked on the door, and he greeted us, invited us in. Wonderful personality. Wonderful.
So I love that you did reconnaissance. I'm sorry
She was a marshal, you know.
No, that's such a U.S. Marshal kind of thing. It's like, I'm just not going to walk in there blind. I need to know what's happening. Okay.
Don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, no, I get it. You could have knocked on the wrong door, or who knows.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing,
because they didn't have Google Maps back then.
No, there was no such thing as Google.
That's right.
It's interesting. John Wayne recommended James Arness for the role as Marshal Dillon, and in the first episode, John Wayne introduced the episode, the first
Really?
Gunsmoke episode. So so they were friends.
Wow, that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Well, he was so much taller than him.
And when we saw him, he was wearing the same hat and vest that he wore on the show.
No.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the saddle was on a saddle horse in the living room, and the stirrups came way down and went out onto the carpet.
Oh.
The legs were so long.
So he was so tall.
Wait a second. Oh, hold on, I just had a technical issue. Give me 1 second.
We got to get better tape.
I do have to get better tape. 1 second, Iris.
One of our lights came on.
So you're at James Arness's house. He welcomes you in. He's wearing the cowboy hat and the vest from the Gunsmoke show. He invites you into his living room, and his saddle is there. No couch, just 3 saddles for you to sit on. Is that what happened?
And his lovely, charming wife and his manager were all there. And we were there for a full hour and got to see his bronzes. We got to see the portrait of Buck, his horse, and his marble statue of Chief Crazy Horse. And then we just took a lot of pictures. And I was thrilled because, got to put his arm around my waist. It was just so exciting. And we have pictures of presenting him with his badge. And we made him a permanent member of the U.S. Marshals Association. We showed him in our directory as U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon, James Arness from Dodge City, Kansas. And, we just did all kinds of fun things with him. And we noticed that even though he was stooped because of age and, health problems, he still had that twinkle in his eye and that wonderful smile, just charming to the end.
Now, I know it was a long time ago. Did you ask him questions, do you think? Or what do you think you would have talked about?
Mostly he talked and we listened, but we talked. He was just so personable, and he, when we got ready to, and they invited us to lunch, but we thought that'd be really pressing too much, and when
didn't want to push your luck.
I went to shake Janet's hand, and she said, "We don't shake hands in this house. We hug." So we all hugged.
That's nice.
That's great. And he was a very good-looking guy too.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more. What do you think about his good looks?
He was handsome and
leading man,
yes,
charismatic,
and he stood out as the Marshal Dillon in that show because of his stature, how tall he was.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a great show. We would watch it every week. The family would sit down and watch Gunsmoke. That was
Absolutely. Everybody in the family watched it.
yeah.
It was just a wonderful show. It just was an uplifting show.
Yes.
And one of the things, but a lot of people didn't know, and I did not know, that he played the Thing.
What's the Thing?
The Thing, it was one of the first scary movies
Yes.
that we ever saw.
I thought
And
the
it
Thing was like a Jello mold. Wasn't that the Thing? What?
No, he was a monster from outer space. And
It was before your time.
we didn't know that because whenever we saw the movie, when we were kids, scared out of our wits, we didn't know him as a person yet.
Sure.
And all we knew him as was a monster. And he told us that, yes, I played the Thing. And one day he said we were filming in the ice house because this is a creature that was chopped out of the ice in Alaska and brought back for study. And you could see he was a huge, monstrous guy in the ice. And then the ice gets melted and he's running around and killing everybody and the dogs and everybody.
Is this one of those
anyway, so the one day he is at the ice house filming in costume and they're on their way back to the studio in a car and there's 4 of them. He says, "Hey, stop the car. I want to get a newspaper." And he jumps out of the car, goes over to a newspaper rack and everybody's
I bet.
can't believe it.
Now, is this
he really caused a stir.
is this one of those
that was
monsters?
a new one on us.
Is this one of those monsters where back in the
No.
Oh yes.
see?
He didn't say anything. He was
just groaned and moaned.
just killing people and showing up and they tried everything to kill him and they were having a rough time and finally they succeeded. But of course it took the whole movie for that to happen.
And was it
But
a U.S.
all
Marshal
these
who
years,
took him
we
down?
did not know that was James Arness.
Was it a U.S. Marshal that took the monster down?
No, it was a bunch of scientists.
Oh, thank goodness for scientists.
Yeah, he was a radio announcer before he started his acting career in Minneapolis.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was on the radio, just like I was on the radio in Chicago, but he was in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So, oh, look at that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, you can see how young we were there.
Oh, my
yes.
gosh. Absolutely.
So we're giving him his retired U.S. Marshal badge.
Yeah, he still looks
That's
the
amazing.
same.
You take the picture down now. That's awesome.
And then we have, he did a picture for us.
Oh, there he is. A little down. Go a little down. There you go. Right there.
To Larry
Oh, look
Nice.
at him. What a
Larry
strapping.
and Iris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see how tall he was?
Well, he's on a horse, Alan.
Well, move it up and look at his legs. Look at how long his legs were.
Yep.
And that's the vest and hat he wore on the show.
That is awesome.
Wow.
I'm sure they had to be replaced eventually because, it lasted so long. But
You can take it down now.
he had the same color. We could see they were the same color as in the portrait. So, and then she and this is a picture of you can see how stooped he is, and there's his wife. She's taking our picture, and she is such a friendly gal. And he was sitting in a chair, and she went over and sat in his lap, and we got a picture of that. So I've got
That's great. That is really wonderful.
That is awesome. Gosh, do you have any other factoids on James?
Well, he was wounded during World War II.
Oh, there you go. That ties into what Iris shared is
Right.
An old military.
Yeah, and
World War
he had
II. Wow.
He had a limp for the rest of his life after that injury.
Wow.
So, yeah.
right.
Amazing. Well, Iris, thank you so much for sharing about James Arness. That is an awesome encounter. And you met him and his wife, and I just pictured like the living room looked like a campfire, and was set up with the beans, and that's what you were gonna have for lunch. But I don't know.
No, it looked like a regular living room to me.
I know. Well, Iris,
it was a great pleasure for us. I guarantee it.
Oh, I bet.
I will never forget that.
I bet.
Oh, yeah, he was some type of guy. He really was a nice person.
Wonderful, generous. He gave a ranch to, I think, the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, he was just so generous, and they were so down to earth. The people, they were wonderful.
That's awesome. Amazing. What an amazing Celebrity Encounter podcast story we had today.
We loved it, Iris. Thank you so much. Hopefully everybody will get to watch this one, and especially the people that watched Gunsmoke, they'll love this.
Yeah, oh, no doubt.
Yes.
So I say yeehaw to everybody out there. No, that was a different show. I'm sorry. So thanks for watching, everybody. This was Iris. This is Alan.
See you next time on Celebrities Encounter Podcast.
Boop, 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 boop. Thanks for tuning in today, and if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on all your favorite platforms. We'll see you next week with the next episode of Celebrity Encounter Podcast.